This is why most men remain weak. And you can say people in general, but as a man, I'm going to hold the men accountable because we were literally put on this earth and this planet to be strong, to be physically opposing, to be ready to go to war, even if that war isn't as drastic as it was when our ancestors had to fight. Every day is still a battle. Every day is psychological warfare, physical warfare, mental, emotional, spiritual warfare. Every time we wake up in the morning, we're going against resistance. So we might as well toughen up and be strong. Life is going to be a lot harder if you're weak. So something to keep in mind. If you're having challenges even getting up in the morning and facing gravity, you got a long road ahead of you. So let's get started. The reason why most men are weak. Well, I'm going to tailor this to the American society that I grew up in and how it's rare for somebody to even be in shape. I mean, you'll see a lot of people on social media, but in real life, it's rare, especially the older we get. Now, as I'm making this video, I'm about to turn 35 in 6 days. So April 13th is my birthday. And obviously, the more I mature, the more I age, the more rare it just becomes for somebody to be as physically fit as I am, at least. Because what does this culture program us? What does this culture kind of tailor us towards? Sitting at a desk all day, being stagnant, being on our phones, being on the computer, watching television, Netflix, and chilling, eating fast food, eating processed foods, stuff that isn't good for us and stuff that isn't quite nourishing our bodies, minds, and souls. And it becomes such a habitual repetition to the point where we're wondering why folks are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and now they have high blood pressure. They're well overweight. They have bags under their eyes, dark circles. They don't feel that good about themselves. They have a bunch of pain. They are just going through it. You got to start taking medications that the doctors prescribe them because of high blood pressure and diabetes and things of that nature, which comes from a lifestyle of being stagnant and eating a bunch of sugary, salty, artificial, processed foods that were made to get you addicted to it. They essentially turn these damn foods into drugs, especially in this culture. So you do that for long enough, you're going to be weak. And this is why it's important, man. This is the number one thing you can do. Now, I say this all the time. You can always buy a new vehicle. You could always buy a new car. But it's not so easy to just get up and buy a new physical vessel, a new body. You're stuck with one body the rest of your life. At least in this lifetime, you get this one physical vessel and that's it. So people try to maintain their vehicles. They put gas in their vehicles. They get the oil changed. They get new tires. But some people don't treat their one vehicle that they have to get up and live with for the rest of their life the same. They just throw whatever's in there and just keep going with no discipline, no structure, no mind of their own. No, they're not intrigued with what they're putting in their bodies. They're not intrigued with how they can maintain a healthy vessel for the rest of their lives. And they just fall in line with everybody else that's like, oh, I guess, once you turn 30, your knees start hurting. Or, yeah, I guess it's just natural to have to get fat and unhealthy and start taking medication. Nah. See, you have to be you have to be rebellious enough to think for yourself if you're not going to be weak. If you're going to choose to be strong as you mature, as you age, or even in general, because it doesn't matter what age you are, there's overweight people and weak people everywhere in this country. But you have to really choose to be your own person and go against the grain in order to be fit and healthy, in order to be strong. And a lot of people, they're not strong enough mentally. They focus too much, whether consciously or subconsciously, on the validation of others, in a sense to where they're just following the crowd. Even if they know that if they got in better shape, people would adore them. They'll probably get better compliments in life, better job opportunities, even. But they're too afraid to, for whatever reason, go to the gym instead of going to the club with their friends or eating something healthy, prioritizing healthy food instead of eating the cliche regular stuff that everybody else eats. So you really got to be your own person in order to be fit and healthy. And maybe not everybody's up for it. To each their own, man. You're on your own journey on this planet. But that's the reason why most men are weak. They're not, they're afraid to stand out, for one. And when you're afraid to stand out, you're just going to fall in line with the rest. You're just going to be an average Joe, just a cliche J, just an ordinary Gary. You get what I'm saying? But that's going to be the first step, is to get into strength training. And well, the first step actually is fixing whatever mental situation that you have going on, because you have to fix the internal. You know, if you're a human being, you're traumatized, and there's probably a reason why you're not in shape. It's because we've been programmed to not be in shape. And maybe you didn't do stuff as a kid. You didn't play too many sports. You ate a lot of donuts and junk food and fast food. So you're going to have to reprogram your internal ways of thinking. You're going to have to literally shift your identity if you want to get in shape. And a lot of people aren't willing to go through that process. A lot of people aren't willing to grow and change themselves in order to evolve. And that's going to be the first key. Change your identity, change your association with health, become a new person, and then it'll be easier for you to garner the habits necessary to take care of yourself, to hit the gym or go bike riding, doing yoga. Now, you also want to figure out what resonates with you, what type of exercise, but I'm going to sit here and tell you that strength training, some form of strength training, is going to be the best. Strength training is the fountain of youth. It's Studies have come out and said it says it's good for your skin. It's obviously good for your muscle. If you put on muscle, it's going to look good on you. But it's great for your bones, your joints, your flexibility, your mobility, everything you need to stay useful. Strength training does that for you. And forgot what I was about to say, but strength training is the bee's knees. There's a whole lot of benefits. I'm going to go in more detail when it comes to strength training. But I'm telling you, whether it's calisthenics, whether it's lifting weights, even yoga, you want to go against resistance in order to adjust to gravity, because that's what fitness and strength training essentially is, or resistance training is, going against gravity. That's the first level, because we have to stand tall and walk and wake up in the morning and get up out the bed. That's going to take going against resistance. So that's going to be the key to everything, man, internally and externally. The reason why most men are weak is they're afraid to go against resistance. internally and externally. They're afraid to change course. They're afraid to evolve and mature as they age. A lot of people just stay the same as they age. They don't really do much to grow. And that's not why we're here on this planet. You're either evolving or you're dying, because stagnancy is basically death. When you see a dead person in the casket, what are they doing? Staying still. So if you're just staying still and you're stagnant, you're basically dead. So we got to keep growing. We got to keep moving. This is what life is all about. And something simple that you can do as a solution for strength training, if you're just starting, focus on compound lifts, squats, lunges, push-ups, pull-ups. If you don't know how to do a pull-up, learn how to do one pull-up. Start with learning how to hang from a bar, completely hang, and then gradually get in tune with your back muscles and lift yourself up. That'll be a whole nother separate video, but this is going to be the key. And that is why most men are weak. Get into strength training. Feel free to comment below. If you have any questions, ask. My links should be below in the description. And I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Let's get strong. It's never too late to lift some weight. Keep that in mind. Let's get it.